And now I'm going to teach you how my mama made her oyster rice dressing, which was a big favorite at my house. We had this holidays, and even though it wasn't a special occasion, we would have this because mama liked this. I've got some chicken giblets here browning. So while this browns, because you want to brown your giblets real good, real well, and they've been ground coarse. You don't want them mushy. This is really going to be a very special dish, so you want to have the flavor of all the ingredients. So now I'm just going to run over and get my rice and wash it, and we'll show you how I cook it at my house every time I cook rice. Okay. Now this, as you can see, is a spaghetti cooker. Well, I have a different use for it. As you know, I just use anything for mostly anything. Just rinse it real well in this spaghetti cooker, or you can get you just a regular, or I guess a strainer after you've cooked it in another pot, and strain it in here, because I'm going to show you how I wash this rice after I've cooked it too. That's 2 washings. It ought to be real clean, not dirty rice. All righty. Now you rinse that, and when you do that, you take some of the carbohydrates out of it, which I have a diabetic in my family, and he definitely does not need to eat stuff with carbohydrates in it, because you know it turns right into sugar. Okay? Then you add a lot of water to this. All righty. Okay. This is going to boil. Put it on the stove. Bring it to a boil, and of course I'll be teaching you how this is going to all come together. Good. Okay. Got to pour some vinegar in here, because this is very important. You add a dab of vinegar in the pot. That's a big dab. And that will whiten the rice. But not only will it whiten it, it will also bring the kernels together and make them tighten up. I never put salt, no butter in my rice. This is how I cook it, starting off now, and when it comes to a boil, and the kernels are going to get big and fluffy and all separate. Delicious. All right, now we can get back to our course, our wonderful oyster dressing. Okay, this is browned real well. Okay. All righty. Of course, here comes that trinity. Onions that are chopped fine. This is going to be a special, special meal. And our bell pepper. Very good. They're also chopped fine. One thing about Cajun cooks, they don't like chunks in there. I guess that comes from the Creole type cooking in New Orleans. But that's okay. It doesn't mean it's less tasty. It's just that this is how we were taught to cook. Oops. Well, I guess I left a chunk in there, didn't I? Take it out. Yeah. Okay. Giblets smell so good. A lot of people don't like chicken giblets. Well, of course, you could use the ground beef in here, but we always use the giblets because to me, it added to the flavor. Okay, that's all. Season it. Salt and pepper and hot sauce. Okay, my grandmother's salt cellar sure comes in handy. I'm just so proud of it. I got it from her, and I'm still using it. Okay, pepper, and of course, hot sauce. Pepper sauce, very good. Now, you saute this together just very shortly, because you'll be baking this and all the flavors are going to come together. You don't want to overcook your vegetables. Okay, to that I'm going to add onion tops and parsley, chopped up real fine. Mix this up. Turn Turn my fire off. Oh, this is really coming together. Well, we used to have this at Christmas all the time, but of course, Mama liked it, like I said a while ago, and so we had it more than at Christmas time and holidays. All righty, this is the oysters, the beautiful Louisiana oysters that I have in here. Mix all this together. You have to leave the juice in there, the liquid, the oyster liquid, because it adds to the flavor. All right, beautiful. Of course, this is my baking dish that I have already sprayed with the nonstick coating, because I don't like to scrub when I do dishes, so it comes out easier. Okay. Oh, wait, you know what? How can this be rice oyster when there's no rice in it? Gee whiz. You know, all cooks make mistakes, I guess, so I'll just have to add the rice, of course, which I have cooked, just like I have cooked this. But remember, you want to keep your rice cold, because if you don't, it will get mushy when you're baking it. So this is what it's going to look like after you put your rice in. And then the juice from the liquid, from the oysters, will be absorbed by the rice, because rice really is wonderful. But you have to know how to cook with it. A lot of people eat sugar, rice, and milk for breakfast. We never did that. We always had rice and gravy. Of course, we used it in casseroles and also. Okay, let me add my dressing to this. Okay. Now, this is a completed version. Oh, well, guess I'm getting old. I just had my birthday the other day, and I guess I'm really, really getting old and forgetful. But I never forget it at the end, because I always remember to add that rice to my stuff, my cooking. Now, rice can be kept in the refrigerator for a whole week if it's cooked right, and it will not spoil, and even it can be frozen. Of course, you've got different types of rice. You've got different grains, short grain, long grain, medium grain. Of course, I love the long grain. My sister-in-law, Janet, cooks with the medium grain, but I always use the long grain. Now, the short grain is more or less for the puddings, and it seems to work better in puddings. But I love that long grain. It seems like it just cooks so pretty. It all tastes good. It's all the same taste. It just has a different size. That's why they call it long grain. It's longer. Alrighty. So this is going to go in the oven for, I guess, well, at 350 for about 20 minutes, because you want the oysters to cook, and that's all initially what you need. Okay. There. All right, and while that bakes, I'll be showing you another wonderful dish. So, and my rice is still cooking. Hasn't started boiling yet, but it won't be long.